Hey, since I can apparently do math, I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, and I need to be ready for it. So, yeah, instead of making a bunch of Gyarados jokes and references to Jimmy, I'd rather you just give me a bunch of questions to answer. Now then, these questions don't have to be anything like, what is 2 plus 2, which is obviously 6, and you don't have to do anything really out there. I just need people to ask questions of sorts. I've got a couple of questions that have been asked on my Ditto Solo Run Part 9 video, but I highly doubt everybody's going to watch that. Like, will Ditto be Uber ever? Or some other stuff. So, as far as I know, this should go over well, providing people actually participate, but you don't exactly have to. Just ask questions if you want to, and I'll answer them if I can. I've got a battle with Mr. France himself, Mudquaza. So I lead with Gaillard, Gerorb, and I want to give him some thunder. So Gallade just goes for a Thunder Wave, because it's some apparently awesome move, and I taunt the stupid thing, and I'm like, ha, your hair sucks. Ha ha, you're paralyzed. And then I eat some leftovers. So now I'm going to crash, because obviously I figured out by now he's choiced. And he goes into the Godfather, and I show him that I'm brave I am, and that I should be in part of the Pokemon Mafia, but apparently I killed the Godfather, so the Pokemon Mafia is going to be after me. Although it's kind of ironic that we both brought Mespreads, we both brought Honchcrows, even though Mudquaza's team is Honchcrow weak, but unfortunately he has the advantage here because I make a big mistake later on in the game, spoilers. So anyway, I bring out my funny name, which is, you know, it's a funny name. I mean, you gotta laugh at that. He Thunderbolts and he gets the Parahacks, which is just typical. And then I go into Shaman because it's the special Walling Shaman that I used like ages ago in one of my battles from one type. So anyway, I eat leftovers, gain health, and then he goes into a martini, and I'm like, hey, you should put some rocks in that martini, and then it would taste really good, and some salt and whatnot. So here, take some seeds and grow some salt plants and whatever. So I get some drinks from this martini man who's made of ice, and it's cold and nice, and my shaman's getting all drunk, and God knows what it's going to come home to when it finds Jimmy. So now that it's getting all drunk and whatnot from the martini, Shaman decides it's getting a little tipsy and needs to switch out. So it goes to sleep, and then it comes out the Hitmontop, and Hitmontop takes the Ice Beam, and it eats the leftovers, and it starts drinking the martini, and I'm like, look, Mudquaza, are you trying to get all my Pokemon drunk? I mean, you're not Jimmy, and I know Shaman's not kind of your thing, but I mean, seriously. So he switches out his martini and decides to tell me to dance! So I dance really closely with this thing that's floating above the air, and I get all close, and we combat, and we fight, and we dance, and whatever. And then I gain leftovers, because that's just what things do. And then I go into Shaman as he turns into a U and goes back into his Pokeball, which probably wasn't my best move, because this is a especially bulky Shaman. And it does exactly half if I had full HP, but I don't carry a good IV for HP, I guess, I don't know. So out comes a Leafeon, and I know that Leafeon doesn't have very good special defense, so I decide to give it some seeds, because Seed Flare is just the best thing to do ever. And of course I don't get any hacks, but none of our moves miss either, in this entire match. So I get a crit, which is gay, but what are you going to do? I go into my Death Fodder, which is my funny name, because this thing is just, I need to re-EV it, it's just awful. So I died to the Leaf Blade, which I was expecting an X-Scissor actually, so I guess it's a good thing he went for the Leaf Blade. Then he switches out Clover and goes into Pinhead Larry, which is like, who you calling Pinhead? And I tried to punch him with my Mach 5, but of course it doesn't work, because I am not in the Mach 5, haha. So I go into Shaman, haha, and I get tricked into stuff, and there's a magic trick going on. It's like, oh my god. So he takes my leftovers, and I get some cool glasses from my Shaman. So now Shaman can see better when the martini comes out, and decides to go to bed because it's all drunk and hung over from the party last night. And the martini comes out and starts filling itself up with more drink, and then I'd ring out, it's good to be the king. And this is where I make the mistake of the match. So I think that possibly a non-stat Thunderbolt won't kill me. I have no idea why, so I go for the agility since, you know, that's a good thing to do. But unfortunately, Mudquaza doesn't run the standard Walling Regice, or he puts more special attack EVs in, and I die. I should have gone for the superpower, and this match probably would have gone differently. So now I go into Gaillard, because I know that I can't do much, and that pretty much walls his Regice, I suppose, I don't know. I just went to Galord because of Death Fodder. So I go for Destiny Bond thinking he might want to explode, but instead he goes for the Toxic, and I should have taunted. I should have made fun of his stupid Russian grandma. Okay, maybe she's not a stupid Russian grandma, but she's still a Russian grandma. So this Russian grandma gives me some candy, and it poisons me. And then I taunt the Russian grandma because I'm like, ugh, you suck. What kind of candy is this? And then she shows me the power of the earth, which is weird, because why would a Russian grandma do that? So I get hurt by my poison from the food poisoning earlier. And then I switch out and I go to, I'm going to crash! Ah! Sonic Adventure reference for the win. And then he goes out to Clover and I heat wave because it's getting hot in here. And then the Clover dies because it's set on fire. So now he brings out his babushka because he knows that he can set up Stealth Rock now. So I have to go into Shaman to scare him away. And he gets up Stealth Rock and I'm like, oh crap. So now he goes back into his Martini because he knows he walls me. And I kept forgetting that Regice has Clear Body, which means it can't lose stats. So I kept going for Seed Flare hoping for a special defense drop, but of course I never get it. And at least I don't miss. So I go for another Seed Flare, and it does enough, I suppose. But he gains most of it back with leftovers, especially since I have choice specs now. But I probably could have killed it if I decided to stay in, but I didn't want to risk it. So I go back into Galard because I want it to die, because it's not useful anymore. And the only attacking move I had on it was Drain Punch anyway, I think. I don't know. I don't want to give away my movesets. So Martini just keeps going for stuff and keeps filling itself up and keeps trying to get my Pokemon drunk. And I bring out my Mafia-killing Honchkrow, which killed the Godfather. And I get a crit on the Martini, which finally the Martini's gone and the glass broke. So now the Babushka comes back out and I'm like, okay, I should be able to kill this. So I hit it with my Night Slash, and I crash into it, and then it toxics me with more poisonous food from its purse. And then it starts eating more of the food from its purse, and then I go for another Night Slash, and I'm like, judging by how much the first one did, this should kill. But of course, it doesn't. He lives on the tiniest amount of HP and goes for a Rapid Spin, which clearly costing the match. So now that my Brave Bird is going to die anyways, because of Stealth Rock, I had to just stay in a Night Slash, and I was hoping that I would be able to live after the Toxic, but no. And then I get a crit, which is just like the game rubbing it in my face because Super Luck and whatnot. Can't rely on hacks, but still. So I go into Shaman because I figure I want to be able to rest up, and I know that he can't do too much to me, just U-turn, and maybe he'll get Parahacks, but of course he doesn't. I get hit by the U-turn, and it does a lot because Mesprit's just a beast when it comes to this stuff. And Shaman takes it like a champ, because that's just what Shaman does. And then Shaman comes back to its Pokeball because it's still drunk. And then I bring out my, hit me! Kobe, stop it! And then he Shadow Balls me. And now Mudquaza starts doing something I did not expect. He starts going for Trick, because he was afraid of Sucker Punch. And had I switched into Shaman, I would have been able to get my leftovers back, and then switch back into this thing, and then have a chance of winning. So, basically that entire misplay with Kingler and everything just screwed me over. I really should just use Crawdon. Crawdon's a lot better. And I just go for the Aerial Ace for what it's worth, because maybe I can get a crit, but of course not, because, you know, it just never happens. He keeps tricking my leftovers, and now I think he's going to trick one more time, thinking maybe I'll go for the Sucker Punch now, but I don't have Sucker Punch. And then I switch into Shaman, he Shadow Balls, and that does a lot. I mean, I know he doesn't have his choice specs, but still, I mean, God. Special Wall Shaman should have been able to take that a lot better. So Shaman goes down, and Jimmy's happy because the Shaman's knocked out, and he can do whatever he wants to it. It's shifty eyes. And then I bring out my Hitmontop, and he hits me, which I wanted to do. And I get hit down to 2 HP, and he gets special defense drop, and I'm like, ugh, I could have lived without the special defense drop. And then I Aerial Ace for what it's worth, because I can't hit it with anything else. And then it kills me off next turn. So yeah, good game, Mudquaza. You should check him out, he's pretty cool. He sometimes goes to France and whatnot, but he's not in France right now. Anyways, I remember going through my shinies, and I forgot 3 of them. My explosion thingy caused me to catch it in a Master Ball. That's from a while back, and I had pretty good IVs, and I think this one has pretty good IVs too, but I can't remember. So yeah, I forgot those 3.